The film begins by showing a small family consisting of a father named Johnny, his wife Rachel, and their 1-month-old baby Eli. They have just moved into a new apartment. Upon arriving at their new home, they immediately start arranging their belongings.
You need a cheat sheet, you cute little munchkin, I can't even tell you.
Suddenly, the doorbell rings. It turns out to be a delivery courier. The courier brings several boxes sent by Rachel's mother. Johnny quickly takes the packages and opens them together with Rachel. Inside, they find many baby items. Rachel realizes that these items once belonged to the late child of her sister, Vivian. At this time, Vivian is being treated in a mental institution due to the tragic death of her child and husband, the cause of which remains unknown. Among the pile of her nephew's belongings, Rachel discovers an old book. On one of the pages, there is a lullaby, but she cannot read it because the text is written in Hebrew. Fortunately, Johnny once studied Hebrew, so he reads the lyrics aloud. He explains that the song is a zemer, a type of lullaby. After that, Rachel and Johnny put the book back with the rest of the baby items.
We got this.
Don't need a lullaby.
Time passes. 6 months later, Rachel and Johnny are seen busy caring for Eli, who is now 7 months old. This is a difficult stage, as Eli is very fussy. Rachel can hardly sleep at night because Eli cries constantly. Even so, both she and Johnny remain patient in caring for their child. At this point, Rachel is supposed to attend an art exhibition organized by Johnny, but because Eli won't stop crying, she decides to stay home. Johnny reluctantly goes alone, while Rachel stays behind to look after Eli.
Okay.
Hi.
All right.
Look at the bird. Look at the bird.
From morning until night, Eli keeps crying and refuses to sleep. This leaves Rachel unable to complete any housework. While she is taking bedsheets from Eli's closet, she accidentally drops the lullaby book that once belonged to Vivian. She remembers that it contains a bedtime song. On the page with the lullaby, she notices that Johnny has written a translation, so all she has to do is sing it with the right melody. Out of curiosity and desperation, Rachel begins singing the lullaby, hoping that Eli will finally fall asleep. Magically, Eli finally stops crying and immediately falls into a deep sleep.
You did it.
Thanks to the lullaby, Eli no longer cries and Rachel is finally able to relax in peace. A while later, Johnny returns from his exhibition. Rachel tells Johnny that thanks to the lullaby from Vivian's book, Eli was able to sleep soundly and stop being fussy. With that, they finally have some free time to be intimate. That night, while Rachel and Johnny are asleep, Rachel is shocked to see a terrifying old woman standing next to Eli's crib. She rushes into Eli's room but finds no one there. The next morning, Rachel and Johnny shower together. Just as they are about to be intimate, Johnny is startled when he sees the figure of the witch-like old woman standing behind him. Without realizing it, Johnny pushes Rachel, which makes her angry with him. Upset, Rachel goes to a baby supply store to buy a new baby monitor camera. There, strange things begin to happen. Feeling frightened, Rachel decides to just go home. Back at home, Rachel once again experiences horrifying events where she is tormented by the presence of the witch-like old woman. Unable to endure the disturbances any longer, Rachel chooses to wait for Johnny in front of their apartment. After waiting a while, Johnny finally arrives and asks why she is outside. Rachel tells Johnny that she has been haunted by a mysterious figure. Johnny then goes inside the apartment to search for the presence. As he looks around, Johnny is startled by the sound made by his pet parrot. Acting on impulse, Johnny strikes the bird, killing it instantly. He is devastated, as the parrot was a precious gift from his late mother. Rachel then begins to explain to Johnny that she has been repeatedly haunted by the witch-like old woman who appears everywhere she goes, from Eli's room to the mirrors in their home and even at the baby supply store. It's not only Rachel who confesses. Johnny also admits to Rachel that he saw the same witch-like figure in the bathroom. Johnny then takes Vivian's lullaby book and shows it to Rachel, asking if the old woman in the book resembles the figure she has been seeing. Rachel is shocked because the figure in the book looks exactly like the mysterious entity that has been tormenting her. Johnny believes that the figure is a witch. He then comes up with the idea of getting rid of the book, hoping that the witch will stop haunting them. That night, Johnny and Rachel decide to sleep together with Eli in their room so they can keep him under their watch. As everyone falls into a deep sleep, suddenly the sound of a baby crying can be heard from somewhere. Johnny wakes up and unconsciously follows the sound of the baby's cries. Still half asleep and not fully aware, Johnny forgets that Eli is actually sleeping with him and Rachel. In this half-conscious state, Johnny keeps walking until he reaches the trash area. It turns out the crying is coming from the lullaby book that Johnny had thrown away. When he picks up the book, the crying immediately stops. The next day, Johnny examines the book more closely and notices that it contains many drawings of children, along with an illustration of a witch and a beautiful woman. Meanwhile, in the bedroom, Rachel is lying down with Eli. Eli keeps crying, so Rachel tries to calm him. Without realizing it, she begins to sing a small part of the lullaby. From afar, Rachel hears the voice of another woman singing the same song. When she turns her gaze for just a moment, Eli suddenly vanishes mysteriously. Panicked, Rachel looks inside the blanket where she sees something horrifying. Terrified, Rachel jumps out from under the blanket and finds Eli lying there only covered with the sheet. That day, Johnny decides to take Eli out for a walk so that Rachel can rest for a while. But instead of resting, Rachel goes to the mental hospital to visit her sister Vivian. Rachel wants to ask directly about Vivian's lullaby book. Vivian then begins to tell her story. Her son, Zachary, was taken by the woman from the book. That woman's name is Lilith. According to legend, Lilith was the first woman created by God to be Adam's partner before Eve was made. They often spent time together in the Garden of Eden, but because Lilith had a strong will and refused to obey Adam, they constantly quarreled until finally God cast Lilith out. Lilith then wandered the desert and, in her despair, lay with wolves. From this, she gave birth to children, but all of them were deformed. Heartbroken by her abnormal offspring, Lilith grew envious and resentful of Adam's children, who were born whole and healthy. Because of this, she began kidnapping Adam's descendants from generation to generation. The remaining children of Adam prayed desperately for God to destroy Lilith. Hearing their pleas, God sent Lilith to hell so she could no longer steal Adam's children. However, secretly, before being cast into hell, Lilith created a lullaby capable of summoning her back into the human world. Through this song, she could still abduct children even from the underworld. Whenever a mother sang the lullaby to her child, Lilith would come and steal the child away to another realm. One day, Vivian found the lullaby book created by Lilith. Fascinated by antiques, Vivian purchased it and began singing from it to Zachary. As a result, Lilith abducted Zachary and replaced his body with a false corpse. Vivian is convinced that Zachary is still alive in Lilith's realm. Vivian and her husband once tried to rescue him, but because Lilith was so powerful, her husband was killed, leaving Vivian broken and confined to the mental hospital. Now, because Rachel has sung the lullaby to Eli, Lilith will soon come to take him to the other world. Vivian warns Rachel that she can help her, but only if Rachel agrees to free her from the asylum.
You have to get me the fuck out of here.
Elsewhere, Johnny, who had said earlier that he wanted to take Eli for a walk, actually goes to a church. There he meets a Jewish rabbi named Rabbi Simowitz. Johnny's purpose in coming is to ask if there is a way to banish demons. First, Johnny explains everything that has happened to him, from the disturbances caused by the mysterious woman to the witch. Simowitz quickly recognizes that the entity haunting Johnny and his family is Lilith. Previously, Vivian had also come to see Simowitz and told him about experiences similar to Johnny's. Even after hearing Johnny's story, Simowitz dismisses Lilith as nothing more than a myth. Feeling disappointed that Simowitz refuses to help, Johnny decides to return home.
Are legends, fables used for...
You told Vivian when she came to you looking for answers?
When he arrives, Johnny is shocked to find the bathroom faucet running. He quickly sets Eli down on the floor and goes to turn off the faucet. but inside he is again tormented by the witch. While Johnny is distracted, Eli is approached by a two-headed baby figure. The creature deliberately knocks over a flower vase, scattering shards of glass around Eli. Curious, Eli picks up one of the shards, cutting his hand. Eli's cries of pain send Johnny into a panic as he searches for him. At that moment, Rachel arrives home with Vivian. Rachel asks Johnny why he dared to leave Eli alone. Johnny is stunned to see Vivian with Rachel, and it is clear that he resents her presence. Johnny insists Vivian is insane and demands to know why Rachel brought her to their home. Rachel explains that she brought Vivian because Vivian knows how to save Eli. Reluctantly, Johnny allows her to stay. The first thing Vivian asks Rachel to do is cover all the mirrors in the house, explaining that mirrors serve as gateways for Lilith to enter the human world. Vivian also instructs both Rachel and Johnny to keep constant watch over Eli, warning that Lilith or her servants can appear at any time. Suddenly, Johnny receives a phone call from Rabbi Simowitz's colleague, Rabbi Cohen. Rabbi Cohen is a specialist who handles mystical cases such as possessions and exorcisms. Johnny is asked to come meet him immediately.
For this address?
Once there, Rabbi Cohen explains that there are 3 rituals Lilith must complete in order to abduct a child. The first ritual is singing the lullaby, which summons Lilith's servants, the witch, and the two-headed infant-like demon known as a Lilim. The second ritual requires the sacrifice of animal blood. The third ritual is the sacrifice of the child's blood. Once all 3 are completed, the gate for Lilith to fully enter the human world will open. Cohen points out that rituals 1 and 2 have already been fulfilled. Rachel has sung the lullaby, and the death of Johnny's parrot counts as the animal blood sacrifice. Only the third ritual remains unfinished. Cohen then provides Johnny with a banishment incantation to repel Lilith and instructs him to light sacred candles. Before Johnny leaves, Cohen asks him to let the lullaby book remain in his custody so that he can guard it, preventing others from being tormented by Lilith in the future. Johnny then quickly hurries home.
Will Lilith be driven from your home? Take this.
At home, Rachel and Vivian continue watching over Eli. Exhausted, Rachel dozes off. At that moment, the Lilim begins approaching Eli. Luckily, Rachel wakes up and quickly picks him up as he starts crying again. Hearing Eli's cries, Vivian rushes over to help calm him. Rachel then excuses herself to the bathroom, asking Vivian to watch Eli for a moment. While in the bathroom, Rachel suddenly hears Lilith's lullaby.
Is everything okay?
She follows the sound and is shocked to discover that Vivian is the one singing it. A startling truth is revealed. Vivian intends to reclaim Zachary from Lilith, but in order to do so, Vivian must enter Lilith's realm. The only way to reach Lilith's world is by summoning her, because when Lilith is summoned, the gateway between worlds opens. In that moment, Vivian would be able to step through into Lilith's domain to search for Zachary. However, to open the gate, Eli must be sacrificed. Vivian promises Rachel that she will bring both Zachary and Eli back. It becomes clear that everything was part of Vivian's plan all along. She was the one who sent the cursed lullaby book to Rachel, knowing Rachel would eventually sing from it. She also anticipated that Rachel would seek her out at the asylum, which allowed Vivian to manipulate her into bringing her home. Now, inside Rachel's house, Vivian is ready to confront Lilith and retrieve Zachary. All of this she does solely to reclaim her son. For the final ritual, Vivian cuts Eli's hand so that drops of his blood fall to the floor. With this, the 3 rituals are completed, and the way for Lilith to enter the human world is opened. Rachel, desperate to prevent this, attacks Vivian.
Back to your psych ward. I'm not crazy,
It is already too late. Lilith has arrived in Rachel's home and immediately takes Eli into her realm. Vivian finally manages to enter Lilith's realm through a mirror. Not wanting to be alone in the other world, Vivian drags Rachel with her so she can also search for Eli and Zachary. As soon as they arrive, Rachel is attacked by the Lilith, but Vivian quickly saves her. Vivian explains that they are now inside Lilith's house. To find Eli, Rachel must call out to him. When she does, they hear Eli's cries and immediately follow the sound. Inside Lilith's house, they discover countless babies who have been abducted. Focusing carefully, Rachel manages to distinguish Eli's voice. She rushes to him and tries to take him away, but Lilith appears and seizes Eli from her arms. Rachel attempts to fight back, but Lilith is far too powerful. Vivian then intervenes, attacking Lilith and managing to rescue Eli. She hands Eli to Rachel, urging her to escape while she sacrifices herself to save them. Meanwhile, Johnny arrives back home and begins performing the banishment ritual with the sacred candle, reciting the incantation Cohen gave him. Lost in the labyrinth of Lilith's realm, Rachel hears Johnny's chanting and follows the sound. Eventually, she finds her way back toward their home.
Oh my god.
But the danger is not over. Lilith pursues Rachel and Eli. To drive her away, Rachel and Johnny chant the incantation together, finally managing to banish Lilith. At first, they rejoice, believing Eli has been saved. But Rachel soon realizes that the baby in her arms is not Eli, but Vivian's son, Zachary. This becomes clear when she notices a birthmark on the baby's neck, something Eli never had. It seems Vivian deliberately exchanged Eli for Zachary so that her son would be saved from Lilith's grasp. Eli remains trapped in Lilith's world, leaving Rachel and Johnny heartbroken. In the final scene, Johnny is seen secretly meeting with one of Cohen's associates. He has asked him to steal the cursed lullaby book from Cohen's possession. It is revealed that Johnny and Rachel are planning to return to Lilith's realm to rescue Eli. From here, two possibilities are suggested. Either Rachel will trade Zachary for Eli, or she will find another child to exchange in order to bring Eli back. One thing is certain, Rachel and Johnny will stop at nothing to save their son. And with that, the story comes to an end.